The world of social media has always been a place where people chase clout at any cost. But the reports coming out tonight suggest that King Harris may have finally pushed the envelope into a dark and dangerous reality that no one saw coming. Welcome back to The Vault, where we are investigating the most explosive news to ever hit the hip-hop community. The headlines are absolutely on fire right now, with reports claiming that the footage everyone was terrified to see has finally been leaked to the public, and the consequences are nothing short of catastrophic. We are talking about the alleged arrest of King Harris in connection to what many are calling the ultimate act of disrespect at the final resting place of 50 Cent's mother. The report suggests that authorities moved in with lightning speed once the viral video started circulating, showing a level of disregard for the dead that has left fans and insiders in a state of total shock. But the biggest twist in this developing story isn't just the handcuffs or the jail. Sell It is the alleged message that 50 Cent has sent directly to T.I. in the wake of this scandal. Insiders claim that the G-Unit mogul did not mince words when he heard that King Harris was behind bars, and his reaction is being described as a cold and calculated warning that has sent a shiver through the entire industry. The emotional stakes have never been higher, as two of the most powerful families in music find themselves on a collision course that could change their legacies forever. Fans are shocked as they watch the drama unfold in real time, with some questioning if King Harris can ever recover from the backlash of such a deep violation of street ethics. Tonight, we are diving deep into the reported evidence and the psychological fallout of a betrayal that has left the family divided and the world demanding answers. Stay tuned as we break down 50 Cent's devastating message and what it really means for the future of King Harris. The reports started flooding in during the early hours of the morning as flashing blue and red lights illuminated the suburban streets outside the Harris family residence. According to several high-profile entertainment news reports, King Harris was taken into custody in a move that has sent absolute shockwaves through the community and left fans questioning how things could have escalated to such a dark and legal extreme. The atmosphere was reportedly thick with tension as officers arrived at the scene with a warrant that many are claiming is directly linked to the disturbing footage that surfaced earlier this week. Witnesses who were present at the time of the arrest describe a scene of total chaos, with family members shouting and legal representatives frantically making calls to try and stop the inevitable. King Harris appeared visibly stunned as he was led away in handcuffs, his signature bravado seemingly replaced by a look of sheer disbelief as the reality of his situation began to sink in. The report suggests that the specific charges are tied to cemetery desecration and a blatant violation of public order following the alleged incident at the final resting place of 50 Cent's mother. The news of the arrest spread like wildfire across social media platforms, with millions of people weighing in on whether this was a necessary step to protect the sanctity of the dead or an overreach by authorities fueled by the high-profile nature of the victims involved. But the most chilling part of this entire saga isn't just the legal battle that is looming, but the reported reaction from Curtis 50 Cent Jackson himself. Insiders claim that as soon as the news of the arrest hit the wire, 50 Cent sent a direct and devastating message to T.I. that has left the industry frozen. The message was reportedly short but contained a level of psychological pressure that only someone with 50 Cent's history could deliver. He reportedly told T.I. that he should have spent more time teaching his son about respect and less time protecting him from the consequences of his own actions. The emotional conflicts within the Harris household are said to be at an all-time high as T.I. struggles to balance his role as a father with the immense public pressure to denounce the actions caught on camera. Fans are shocked because this goes beyond a simple internet feud and has entered the realm of criminal law and permanent reputation damage. The reports describe a family divided, with some members allegedly begging King to take accountability, while others are looking for any possible loophole to keep him out of a jail cell. The transition from a viral video to a prison cell happened So fast that even the most seasoned industry veterans are struggling to keep up with the pace of the drama. 50 Cent's message to T.I. was allegedly followed by a series of social media posts that used humor and mockery to highlight the gravity of the situation, further agitating an already volatile environment. The industry is watching closely because the stakes have never been higher for the Harris family legacy. Reports suggest that 50 Cent is not planning on letting this go easily, and his legal team is reportedly looking into how they can ensure the maximum penalty is applied for the disrespect shown to his mother's memory. The dialogue emerging from the inner circles suggests that this was the final straw in a long history of tension between the two camps. Boosie Badazz, who was previously reported to have had a physical confrontation with King Harris over this same issue, is also reportedly watching the situation with a sense of grim validation. The reports of King's arrest have triggered a massive wave of commentary from other public figures who are now forced to take a side in what is being called the most disrespectful act in hip-hop history. Emotions ran high as fans of the late Sabrina Brown took to the internet to demand justice and a heavy sentence for the young artist. The psychological weight of being at the center of such a storm is reportedly taking its toll on King Harris as he sits in a holding cell waiting for his first hearing. According to the rumors, he has been denied contact with the outside world except for his attorneys, which has only added to the mystery and the suspense of what will happen next. The reports indicate that T.I. is planning a major public statement to try and get ahead of the narrative, but the damage to the Harris brand may already be irreversible. The betrayal felt by the fans who once looked up to King is palpable, and the calls for a total boycott of his career are growing louder by the minute. The atmosphere in the streets is one of pure anticipation as everyone waits for the leaked footage of the arrest to hit the internet. Some claim that a neighbor caught the entire thing on a doorbell camera, and that the video shows a much more aggressive confrontation than what is being officially reported. The twists and turns in this story are keeping everyone on the edge of their seats as the personal stakes for 50 Cent and T.I. collide in a way that could lead to a permanent rift in the culture. The reports suggest that the bail amount being discussed is astronomical, reflecting the serious nature of the charges and the flight risk associated with a high-profile celebrity. As the night wears on and more details about 50 Cent's message to T.I. emerge, it becomes clear that this is not just about a crime, but about a fundamental lack of respect that has triggered a war between two of the most powerful forces in music. The emotional stakes for 50 Cent are deeply personal, as he has always been vocal about the love and respect he has for his mother, making this violation feel like a direct attack on his soul. On the other hand, T.I. is facing the nightmare of watching his son follow a path that could lead to years behind bars for nothing more than a few thousand likes and shares. The reactions from the hip-hop community have been overwhelmingly in favor of 50 Cent, with many artists coming out to say that there are certain things you just do not do, regardless of the beef. The reports of King Harris's breakdown in the police station are also circulating, with some claiming that he is finally realizing the magnitude of the mistake he made. The psychological fallout of this event will likely be studied for years as a prime example of how the pursuit of viral fame can lead to total life destruction. The transitions between the reports of the arrest and the analysis of the legal consequences highlight a shift in how these cases are handled in the modern era, where public opinion can be just as influential as the evidence in the courtroom. The industry is at a crossroads, and the resolution of this case will set a precedent for how disrespect is handled in the future. Every second that King Harris spends in that cell is a second where his future hangs in the balance, and the shadow of 50 Cent's influence looms large over the entire proceeding. The reports continue to suggest that this is only the beginning of a long and painful process for everyone involved, as the legal system begins to grind forward and the public's thirst for justice grows. The energy in the air is heavy with the realization that things will never go back to the way They were before that footage was leaked. The reports suggest that the legal pressure mounting against King Harris is only half of the story, because the psychological warfare being waged by 50 Cent has reached a terrifying new level of intensity. According to insiders within the industry, 50 Cent did not just stop at a single message, but has reportedly been working behind the scenes to ensure that the Harris family feels the full weight of the disrespect shown to his mother's memory. The reports indicate that 50 Cent's message to T.I. was a masterclass in manipulation and strategic pressure, where he allegedly reminded the Atlanta legend that while kings can be forgiven for their mistakes, the actions of their children often reflect the true state of the household. The dialogue coming from the 50 Cent camp suggests that he views this arrest as a moment of absolute validation for every warning he has ever given about the lack of boundaries in the modern era. Witnesses who have been tracking the online activity of both parties claim that the tension in the atmosphere is so thick it feels like a physical weight on everyone involved. King Harris is reportedly sitting in a cell facing the reality that the viral fame he chased so aggressively has now become his biggest liability, with prosecutors allegedly using his own video clips as primary evidence in the case for cemetery desecration. The reports describe a scene where the young artist is starting to realize that the rules of the internet do not apply inside a courtroom, and that no amount of followers can help you when you are facing real-world criminal charges. Fans are shocked as more details of the arrest warrant emerge, with some claiming that the police had been building a case for weeks, waiting for the perfect moment to move in and make an example out of the situation. The transitions between the reports of the legal proceedings and the analysis of 50 Cent's calculated moves show a deep divide in how people view the conflict. Some believe that 50 Cent is going too far by pushing for the maximum penalty, while a massive portion of the audience feels that King Harris is finally getting exactly what he deserves for violating one of the most sacred rules in human history. The emotional conflicts within the Harris family are reportedly reaching a breaking point, as T.I. and Tiny are said to be at odds over how to handle their son's defense. Reports suggest that T.I. is focused on the long-term reputation of the family, while Tiny is more concerned with the immediate safety and mental state of her son, who is reportedly not handling the isolation of the holding cell very well. The betrayal felt by T.I. is also a major factor in the reports, because he allegedly feels that King's actions have undone years of hard work to build a legacy of respect and community leadership. 50 Cent's message reportedly highlighted this very point, suggesting that the Grand Hustle brand is now and forever linked to an act of ultimate disrespect that can never be washed away. The reports indicate that 50 Cent is also allegedly preparing a documentary that will dive deep into the history of the Harris family, using this current arrest as the final chapter to show a pattern of behavior that he wants the world to see. The psychological fallout of this move is massive, as T.I. is forced to defend not just his son, but his entire life's work against the relentless energy of 50 Cent's media machine. Fans are following every update with a mix of horror and fascination, as the personal stakes for both men continue to rise. The dialogue reported from the Harris camp suggests a sense of desperation, with lawyers reportedly reaching out to 50 Cent's team to try and find some kind of middle ground before the trial begins. But according to the reports, 50 Cent has completely shut down any communication, making it clear that he wants justice to take its full course without any interference. The emotional stakes for 50 Cent are visible in his rare, serious moments on social media, where he has allegedly posted images of his mother as a reminder of why he is being so ruthless in this situation. The transition from the physical confrontation with Boosie to the legal war with 50 Cent shows a clear escalation in the danger level for King Harris. Reports suggest that Boosie has even been called as a potential witness in the case, further complicating the web of alliances and feuds that are tearing the industry apart. The reactions of other rappers remain cautious, as many are afraid to speak out against 50 Cent for fear of becoming his next target, while others are quietly supporting T.I. out of a sense of loyalty to the Atlanta scene. The psychological pressure on King Harris is said to be reaching a boiling point, with reports claiming he is refusing food and struggling to sleep as he waits for his next court appearance. The reports describe a young man who has finally realized that the walls are closing in and that the support he expected from his peers has largely evaporated in the face of such a controversial crime. The industry is bracing for the next move from 50 Cent, who is reportedly planning a major press conference to address the arrest and the message he sent to T.I. once and for all. The emotional stakes for the fans are also high, as many are starting to feel like they are watching the slow-motion collapse of a hip-hop dynasty. The transitions between the different stages of the arrest and the subsequent legal maneuvers keep the audience on the edge of their seats as the story becomes more like a dark psychological drama than a simple news report. Every update brings a new twist, including rumors that King Harris's team is trying to claim the footage was edited or taken out of context, but the reports suggest the original files have already been secured by the authorities. The resolution of this part of the story seems to be leaning toward a long and drawn-out legal battle. It will test the strength of everyone involved and leave a permanent mark on the history of the culture. The shadow of 50 Cent's influence is everywhere in this case, and his message to T.I. serves as a constant reminder that in the world of power and respect, there are some mistakes that you simply cannot come back from. As the world waits for the next update, the only thing that is certain is that the stakes have never been higher and the consequences have never been more real for King Harris and the entire Harris family. The reports surrounding the final phase of this legal nightmare suggest that the courtroom drama is set to be just as explosive as the incident itself. According to sources close to the investigation, the prosecution is allegedly preparing to present a mountain of digital evidence that paints a picture of a calculated and intentional act of disrespect. The psychological weight of this evidence is reportedly what led to the breakdown of negotiations between the two families, as T.I. realized that no amount of industry influence could simply wash away the footage that had already been burned into the public consciousness. Reports indicate that 50 Cent's message to T.I. has become the focal point of the entire saga, with many viewing it as a final warning that the time for apologies has long since passed. The dialogue coming from the Harris legal team suggests a strategy of damage control, but insiders claim that King Harris is finding it harder and harder to maintain his composure as he faces the reality of a potential multi-year sentence for cemetery desecration. The emotional stakes reached a fever pitch during a reported closed-door meeting where T.I. was seen looking visibly defeated, realizing that his son's future was now in the hands of a justice system that is notoriously harsh on high-profile cases involving public outrage. Fans are shocked as reports surface that 50 Cent has allegedly hired private investigators to dig into every detail of King's past, to ensure that his character is put on trial alongside his actions. The transitions from the social media frenzy to the cold reality of the legal process show a deep shift in the industry's energy, where the laughter and memes been replaced by a somber realization of the consequences of clout chasing. The reports describe a divided community, with some calling for mercy because of King's age, while a growing majority is siding with 50 Cent, believing that a strong message must be sent to protect the sanctity of family and the memory of the dead. The betrayal felt by 50 Cent is reportedly what is driving his relentless pursuit of justice, as he allegedly told friends that this isn't about the Harris family, but about standing up for his mother in a way that he couldn't when he was a child. The psychological fallout for King Harris has been described as a total collapse of the ego, as he sits in a high-security environment far removed from the luxury and protection of his family's empire. Reports suggest that he has been seen in tears during meetings with his lawyers, finally understanding that the internet world he built his identity on cannot save him from the physical walls of a prison. The industry is watching the clock as the date for the preliminary hearing approaches, with rumors circulating that a surprise witness from the night of the incident is prepared to testify about King's state of mind and the motives behind the TALF video. The emotional conflicts and personal stakes have reached a boiling point where every move by either side is being scrutinized by millions of people globally. 50 Cent's message to T.I. is being interpreted by many as the definitive end of an era of mutual respect between the two camps and the beginning of a Cold War that will define the next decade of hip-hop culture. The reports indicate that the resolution of this case will not just be about a verdict, but about the cultural precedent it sets for what is and isn't acceptable in the pursuit of viral fame. As the night before the hearing arrived, reports from inside the jail suggest that King Harris was pacing his cell in total silence, perhaps reflecting on the moment. He decided that a few minutes of social media attention was worth risking his freedom and his family's legacy. The shadow of 50 Cent's influence continues to loom large over the entire proceeding, and the world is holding its breath to see if the young artist will be made an example of, or if there is one last twist in this dark and cinematic story that could change everything. The transitions between the legal maneuvers and the raw, human emotion of the characters involved highlight the tragic nature of the situation, where a quest for relevance has led to a total loss of power. The report suggests that regardless of the outcome, the industry has learned a hard lesson that some boundaries are absolute and some people are not to be trifled with, no matter how many followers you have. The story of King Harris's arrest and the message from 50 Cent will go down as one of the most cautionary tales in the history of the digital age, a reminder that while the internet never forgets, the real world never forgives a violation of core. A violation of core. Look at this, and we all know I've been exploring. Well, we all know I've been exploring that path. We love with core wise percussion curiously siviner. We love with core wise. 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 To one y. Why is it at core wide wise? Sky side core y. K what I can. I to call a guy call with side. It can you to the soul dot. This has been a truly dark and cinematic journey into the legal and personal fallout of a situation that has completely changed the landscape of the industry. We have witnessed the reporting of King Harris's alleged arrest and the chilling psychological message sent by 50 Cent that has left even the most seasoned insiders in a state of shock. It is a stark reminder that in a world driven by viral moments and the constant chase for clout, there are still lines that carry real-world consequences and boundaries that should never be crossed. But now the focus shifts to you and the conversation that is happening in every corner of the hip-hop community. Do you believe that King Harris is being made an example of by a system that is tired of social media disrespect? Or is this the only way to restore honor to a family legacy that was targeted for views? How do you feel about 50 Cent's reported message to T.I., and is he right to be this relentless in his pursuit of justice for his mother's memory? The world is watching this courtroom drama unfold, and we want to hear your perspective in the comments section below, because your voice is a crucial part of this analysis. If you found this deep dive into the Vault Files compelling and you want to be the first to know when the next update in this legal war hits the wire, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you are always alerted to the breaking news and investigative scripts that we bring you every week. Thank you for staying with us through this complex story, and we will see you in the next one as we continue to track the resolution of the biggest scandal of the year.